But when I became a libertarian in 1979, I was just so excited with freedom. I couldn't wait to share it with everybody else. You know, isn't liberty great? And I got a reaction that maybe some of you got, and I was really surprised by. What they said was, oh, well, you're just selfish. Or, well, you don't care about the poor. Or, and this one's my favorite, well, you know, not everyone is as smart as you are. We have to have Social Security. And I had no idea what I was doing wrong until I later became a marketing rep for IBM and then built my $1 million company and was out in the workforce. And I realized that as a libertarian, I was selling benefits, not features. Because we libertarians are so excited about liberty, just for liberty's sake. You know, Mark mentioned he hates authority. A lot of libertarians hate authority. We just love it for liberty's sake. Unfortunately, that's not the voters. If the voters cared about liberty just for liberty's sake, they would have already joined the party. So what we have to do is we have to show how our benefits can help them and their problems. And the thing is even though we're accused of being selfish, our solutions are the most compassionate solutions out there. Our solutions work if we just explain how. And that's my tactic as a presidential candidate. As I mentioned, I am a teacher. However, I do understand the difference between lecturing and quickly explaining something to somebody. So what I think we need to do, and what I've been doing personally, is to explain how we get a cleaner environment, how we get safer streets, how we have higher quality education through liberty. We can't just say, liberty will fix it, freedom will fix it. We have to show them how. And that's what my campaign does, principled and practical. We cannot water down our message, and I follow the platform 100%. We cannot water down the message. We just have to explain how and do it principally. And also I'd like to mention, well, what I mentioned in the last few states I've been to is when I first joined the party, I was told that the Libertarian Party was a bunch of angry white men who hated paying taxes and liked smoking pot. And in some cases, that reputation is still out there, and that's what we need to change. And when we go out there and we say freedom, two things happen. First of all, we get the reaction of, oh, you're just selfish and you want to not pay taxes. The other thing that people hear when you say, you know, I really love freedom and liberty, is their eyes kind of glaze over and they go, but we're the freest country on earth. Like, what more is there? So again, we need to talk about subjects that the voters are excited about, not us. Yes, of course we need to talk about our solutions, but let me give you an example. Libertarians rarely talk about the environment. And that is something that is really important to young people, and I think we need to turn to young people to grow the party. First of all, they're young. They're going to be voters for many more years than the people of my age group. But also, they're naturally libertarians. They're naturally tolerant. So they want to talk about the environment. Guess what? That means I want to talk about the environment. Healthcare is a big thing right now. It's literally a life or death issue. And especially if you go to single-payer system, that is going to be really hard to come back from. So we have to explain how liberty helps. So liberty is right, and liberty works best. And it's my job to show them how. So any questions? How much time do I have left? I assume?
6 minutes.
Oh, awesome. Yes.
How do you assuage concerns about global warming with liberty-based solutions?
Yeah, well, first of all, if I have a map handy, I will show them. Otherwise, I will point out that if you look at the map of the world, that the most free market places have the least pollution. So right away, you know, innovation brings about better technology. I also like to talk about nuclear power. And young people are excited about nuclear power. And also, they haven't quite thought through what government, that wasn't my thing, right?
No.
What government means as far as choices go. And I explained that, because some people say, oh, nuclear power, isn't that the bad stuff? Well, 40 years ago, what happened was we had, first of all, older technology, but we had different types of technology, and what happened was government came in and chose the winner and said, this is going to be our system. And we had one system, and it didn't work very well. Right now, we've got many different systems that are just coming out. There's advanced nuclear reactors. They're about a tenth the size. And by the way, Rolls-Royce is one of the companies coming out with it. So when I was on a radio show talking with younger people, I said, imagine if when computers first came out, the government looked at Bill Gates, looked at Steve Jobs, looked at a few other companies and said, okay, we choose Bill Gates. We're only going to have one kind of computer, none of the other kind. And there's kind of like a gasp, like, no Apple. So I just point out, it's the same thing with nuclear power. We need to have the free market working for us for the best solutions. Yes?
What do we do about nuclear waste disposal? We're decades behind.
Yeah, the newer ones don't have that. The older ones, that's something we do need to take care of. And that's the thing about whenever the government is in charge, we don't have innovation. With a free market, we do have innovation. And people would be competing to give one with less waste. And the reason we have so much waste is because of the government. But yeah, unfortunately, whether it's waste, whether it's Social Security, whether it's Medicare, there's a whole bunch of waste that we have to clean up here as Libertarians. Anything else? Another question is?
On the debate stage and out in the community and stuff, how do you communicate that market-based healthcare solutions are better for everybody, very importantly, including the poor?
Oh, it's very important.
How do you explain it?
Yes.
How do you explain that?
Well, I usually start off with by pointing out that people never spend other people's money better than they spend their own. And usually I get a few head nods from that. And I point out that if you look at LASIK surgery and cosmetic surgery, where people pay for it out of their own pocket, people price shop, and the prices have gone way down and quality has gone way up. So when people tell us, oh, our prices are higher because of technology, no, technology has gone through the roof, especially with LASIK surgery. And in fact, I was in a third-party debate in Chicago on Wednesday. There were a few of us libertarians, socialist on the end, and it was kind of fun listening to all of her contradictions. But one of the socialists said, yeah, doctors just want to make profit, and we got to get out of there. And when it was my turn, I said, darn right, doctors want to make profit. LASIK surgery and cosmetic surgery, the only way they get customers, patients, whatever, but they are customers in that area. The only way they get customers is lower prices, higher quality, and if we would change the rest of the healthcare system to where people were shopping around, then we would have that same system. And just to point out real quick, two things. I favor a system similar to Singapore. Their healthcare costs are 75% less. And the state of Indiana, when they implemented the system, at the beginning of the system, only 1 out of 10 people bought generic drugs. Because again, who cares? They're spending somebody else's money. After they switched to this system, 9 out of people voluntarily chose generic drugs, and they were happier too. They were spending less money, and they were happier because they got to keep the savings. Right now, nobody has any savings. The insurance just keeps raising the prices. Any other? There's got to be another question. Yes.
What's your most important issue?
I think it's healthcare. Personally, for me, I think the environment is important for the younger people. And my third one, and thank you for that, is turn America into one giant Switzerland, armed and neutral. We need to bring all of the troops home, and that's what I would do on the first day of office. Bring all the troops home. This isn't pacifism. This is armed and neutral, where we defend our borders. And I'm leaving a stack of them back there, so if you're interested in reading it, that's great. And if you don't mind my mentioning, one other thing, and I'm glad to talk about issues, but one thing that I think is important when we look at the measure of success, there's votes, there's how many people, how many minds we've changed and so forth. I think one of the big measures of success is how many members you bring into the party. And Harry Brown in 1995 and 96 doubled the party size. That's the largest growth we've ever had in the Libertarian Party, even to this day. We've got more votes, but we haven't grown the party as much. And the reason we need to grow the party is because we need candidates at every level, state, local, federal. We need more candidates, we need supporters for those candidates, we need donors, we need people knocking on those doors. So we're not going to get anywhere unless we have candidates everywhere.